Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that. So yeah, thank you everybody for taking the time today to jump on this webinar. I know when we kind of think about tariffs, and obviously a lot of those are going to be coming here in the next few months if they're not already taking place. And once again, what does negative reviews have to do with tariffs, right? So I will let you guys know that obviously if there's more tariffs and everything, and you have certain manufacturers in certain countries, obviously your cost is going to go up. You got to figure out if you're going to give that to the consumer or if you're going to eat those costs. But I will tell you, the direct correlation between reviews is that, when you remove negative reviews and you get more positive reviews, obviously that's great for social proof. It also helps build credibility. It also lowers your PPC cost because once again, the higher reviews that you guys have, the lower the PPC cost can be. And then also, the best case scenario is obviously it improves sales, right? Because that can improve your BSR and it also improves your star rating. So we know there's a huge dip when it comes to people. If you get a 4.3 and you go down to a 4.2, you can lose anywhere from 10 to 50% of your sales. So once again, at the end of the day, the tariffs are what they are, and you got to kind of take a look at that. If there's other countries that don't have high tariffs, which I think can be awesome, but really at the end of the day, the review thing is just absolutely, that's the lifeline of Amazon, and we're here to show you guys ways that you guys can be able to remove your own negative reviews, and I'll kind of go into that. Great. So what we're talking about today is the danger of negative reviews and how to combat them. My name is Shane Barker. I'm actually the owner of TraceFuse. Once again, as I said, thank you guys so much for taking the time today. We'll jump into this. So some of the things that you need to know, I think it's important that, a lot of people, I talk to probably 40 to 50 sellers a week. And I would tell you that every time I ask them, hey, have you guys had any success with removing reviews? The most I've ever heard of is probably about 1%, right? 1% of those things that you're filing on. I can tell you that our success rate is going to be right around about 10%, a little higher in some categories, like in supplements and pet and those are the categories that there's a little more aggression that's happening. Also, another thing that I think is important for sellers is that when you're filing cases, and I'm going to give you kind of show you where you guys can file cases later on in the presentation, but make sure you take the emotion out of it. All right, when you're sending emails and filing cases with Amazon, Amazon cares about you, but at the end of the day, they don't. If you're writing something that's emotional and hey, Amazon, you need to get this done, and hey, you need to do this, Amazon doesn't work for you, right? So what you got to do is you got to be able to take a step back and think about, okay, what does Amazon care about, right? And what Amazon cares about is the consumer. So you got to think about how this affects the consumer, not how this is affecting your business, right? And kind of think about that from Amazon's perspective. And the other thing is also read the community guidelines. So everything that we do when we file cases, they're in alliance with the community guidelines. So that's the reason why we're 100% compliant with Amazon, is because we know the community guidelines and we know if they get changed and then what that looks like. So that's another thing, you really want to memorize the community guidelines so you know, because I talk to a lot of sellers and they say, oh, I didn't know that you couldn't mention a competitor. Oh, I didn't know you couldn't mention pricing, right? Or, oh, I didn't know that there's certain things that they had. I didn't even know that was a possibility to get those removed. Well, guess what? If you read the guidelines, and you'll have a better idea of what can be removed, what can't be removed. So now we're going to talk about what's allowed or what's not allowed, right, in regards to reviews. So some of these might shock you, but I'm going to go through them real quick. So the seller order or shipping feedback. So obviously if you're an FBA product and you guys ship out through FBA and there's a problem with shipping or there's a broken product or something, that obviously it's on the shoulders of Amazon, right? So obviously that was something that we would be filing on, or you guys can file on those as well. Comments about pricing or availability. So, if you can't say, hey, this is an expensive product, it's $40, can't believe I paid that. You can't mention pricing or availability if that's an issue. Contact written or unsupported languages. So in certain countries, certain languages are allowed and other languages are not allowed. Private information, talking about the owner or anything like that, or information, information that only the people internally should know about. Profanity or harassment, hate speech, sexual content, external links, right? No affiliate links or anything like that. Add conflict of interest, promotional content, compensated reviews. So in other words, where somebody got some kind of a gift card, got something, free product to review, and plagiarism, infringement, and impersonation, and then obviously illegal activity. So those are all the things. That's just a high-level view of some of the things that are in the guidelines to think about. All right, so if you guys want to remove negative reviews on your own, so this is a DIY. So what we've done is I've included this for you. Obviously, I can give you guys copies of the presentation, or you can screenshot it or something. But the first thing you want to do is you want to click the report button. That's always what Amazon asks you to do. If you go and report something, they say, hey, make sure you click the report button. So great, we're going to go ahead and do that. Then you want to send an email to community-help@amazon.com. And once again, if they don't respond there, then you can go ahead. You want to make sure that when you're filing these cases, you're not going to get an update within an hour, so you don't need to bombard Amazon and keep emailing them over and over and over. Give them a day, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days. Give them days to respond. But I would absolutely add it to your calendar, because if they don't respond or they say it's been taken care of, then obviously you're going to want to set either do a follow-up case, or if the case has been shut down, or you can ask for an update. You can send escalations to seller-performance@amazon.com. So that's if you have an escalation email. That can be if you feel that you've been attacked, like somebody maybe has come in and just given your products 1 stars and you've got multiple of those, right? And one of the things that we look at when we look at the fraud side of things, when we're looking at that for our clients, is obviously if somebody came and just gave you a 1 star and you have to 5-year products, and they just happen to buy your competitors' products and they have all 5 stars, and the products are very similar, then obviously that's an escalation case. And we're going to Amazon and saying, hey, this is a sock puppet account. There's something fishy going on here. They hate our products. They happen to love our competitors' products, and the products are very similar. And so anyways, those are the types of things that we look at, and you can look at that too, obviously, when people write reviews for you. You can also use brand registry. That's going to be highly recommended. Obviously, if a product has brand registered, that's going to be an upside. And then the other thing is do not use seller support. So that used to be an avenue back in the day, but it is no longer an avenue anymore. So just know that if you do that and you don't get a response, there's a reason for that. So great. Now we're going to talk about what you're going to actually include when you guys are going to be filing that case. So the first thing you're going to want to do is include the ASIN in question, right? You're also going to put the buyer's name and link. You want to put the link to the review. You also want to put the review title and the review body. What is the violation? And I've got some, and of course, the next question is, okay, how do I know if it's in violation? You look at the guidelines, but I actually have a tool for you guys that we literally just launched yesterday. So you guys are literally the first people that are seeing this. So this should be good. So great. You're going to put in what is the violation, right? Obviously, those tie back to the guidelines. And then we explain the desired result from an email to Amazon. Like, what do you want to do, right? We want you to delete this review. We want you to, whatever. You want to let them know what the next steps are. Usually it's to delete the review, obviously. So great. I'm going to tell you guys, just before I tell you guys about the tool that you guys can use for free, our little humble brag moment is going to be that, just so everybody knows, TraceFuse, we've been in business for a number of years. We actually removed over 12,000 critical reviews for our clients. That's, once again, fully 100% compliant with Amazon, all white hat, nothing gray, nothing black, nothing like that. Once again, we do everything above board. And then once again, we work with some of the top sellers, and we have about 450, probably closer to 500 clients now. And on average, we do about our success rate or remove rate is right around 10%. But as I said earlier, sometimes we've gotten up to 27% for like supplement brands, sometimes pet, sometimes beauty, because it's high profit margins and easier to ship stuff. All right, enough about that. Now let's get into the tool that you guys can use. So if you guys go to tracefuse.ai/Amazon-review-checker. We just launched this. And so what this is going to be, this is a free tool that you guys can use. You guys can go and put in your ASIN URL, or you can put in your ASIN. You're going to click the check product details. And what will happen is a thing will pop up and it'll say, hey, we're going to get in a report together for you. You have to put in your name and your email address, and then we will send you a report. And I'm going to show you guys what the report looks like. The idea of this report is what we do is we're pulling the violations that we feel are the lowest hanging fruit, the ones that are going to be the highest violations out of all of the critical reviews you have. Obviously, it's better if you have more critical reviews, because then we have more information to sift through to be able to find the best ones. If you're a new product and you're going to put this in here and you only have 3 critical reviews, guess what? Maybe none of them are against Amazon's guidelines or even have any kind of fraudulent activity. So it's better to have an ASIN that has more critical reviews. I'm not encouraging you to get critical reviews. Like, you don't ever want to do that. But if you do have a product that, once again, is more established, that would be a good start. So great. Go ahead and tracefuse.ai/Amazon-review-checker. And then what will happen is, within the few hours after you authorize your email address and everything, you'll get a report that looks something like this. So what you'll see is you can see the picture of the product, you can see the ASIN, you can see how many reviews, you see the 1, 2s, and 3 stars. So there's 32 1 stars, 57 2 stars, and 176 3 stars. And then you'll see here we have the review IDs there, and actually those will all be clickable. Has the review title, has the star rating, 1, 2s, or 3s, because we only go after critical reviews, which once again is 1, 2s, and 3s, and the reason for the non-compliance. So we actually give you the reason, and so you guys don't need to go and read the guidelines and try to figure it out. You guys can actually go in there, put in that ASIN, it'll tell you what the issue is, and then what you can do is you can take this, and we have the email addresses that we gave to you earlier where you can file cases, and then you can do escalation cases as well. Once again, the goal of this is to use this report to be able to get the information to Amazon, and what I talked about in the slides before this, Those are all the things you're going to want to include in your case filing. If you don't include those, you're just going to get ignored. So you want to make sure you have that information in there. And then alternatively, if you guys file cases and Amazon doesn't respond or doesn't listen, or you guys don't get a favorable response, you guys can always reach out to us. Obviously, we are a paid service, but the good part is that we do a number of things. We also protect ASINs. We do monitoring for ASINs. If you are worried about getting attacked, that's all baked into our service. The other thing you'll see up here is we have a review calculator. If you can see that right in the right-hand corner, that actually is going to be a way. So when you click on that, what that'll do is you have a little thing you can toggle across. So if you want to get from a 3.9 to a 4.0, it'll tell you approximately how many positive reviews you need to add and how many critical reviews we're going to need to remove for you guys, or how many critical reviews you guys need to remove. So once again, that calculator's in beta. It's always in beta. You know, we don't have the exact measurements, but it is very close. So that'll give you a good idea to be able to take a look at that and see what it's going to take to get up in that star rating. Once again, let's say you guys go and try this and you file cases and you get frustrated and it doesn't work, or whatever the deal is, right? Amazon doesn't respond. If you guys want to work with us, obviously this is what we do. We've removed over 12,000 reviews for our clients to date. Once again, fully compliant with Amazon. The other thing that we also do is we also offer a promotion right now. You guys can click this little QR code and you guys will get your first 2 reviews removed for free. So what you can do is you can click on that. We either can do a demo or you guys can sign up. We do have a one-time onboarding fee and a monitoring fee, but that's a lifetime monitoring fee. So just so you know, so any ASINs you have active with us, the beauty of that is that, you know, if a month before Christmas or Prime Day and you guys start getting attacked, we will automatically see those reviews come into our dashboard and we will file on those, assuming there's something against Amazon's guidelines or there might be something fraudulent there. So once again, try it yourself, DIY, get out there, do it yourself. If you're not able to get those reviews removed and it's getting closer up to Prime Day, Christmas, any your big holidays, once again, you can reach out to us and we would love to be able to help you guys get those reviews removed. So once again, thank you so much for taking the time today. Once again, Shane Barker, this is my direct email. This is our website. And Daniel and the team, thank you so much for having us today. This is an honor to be here today.
Awesome. Thank you, Shane. And sorry, guys, for some reason, my webcam is having issues and Zoom is prompting me to refresh. But if I do that, it's going to reset our meeting here. So I'll just have my camera off for the remainder here. But yeah, I was thinking, Shane, just around a question around TraceFuse here. Is there any particular category that you're seeing the most traction with on like successful removals or even just negative reviews that come over? It could be, like you mentioned, could be for a big selling day like Prime Day or December here. But yeah, any action on what you're seeing there?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that, like I was talking about earlier, I mean, supplements is huge for us. We have some huge supplement clients that really protect all of their ASINs. You know, some categories it's a little more aggressive, supplements being one of those, where there's a lot of attacking and kind of some nefarious stuff that goes on there. We also see in the beauty as well. I think anything that has a high profit margin is easy to ship. It's very easy for people to come and buy your product and give you a 1-star review. So that is something else that our software actually monitors as well, is that once again, when those reviews come in, we look at those and then once again, we're automatically filing. So we're really a monitoring service to make sure that those reviews, that if anything bad comes in, that you're filing automatically. Because the last thing you want is a review that's against Amazon's guidelines and everybody writes that it's a helpful review, and then all of a sudden that's the #1 review you have up there. And even though it's against Amazon's guidelines, those don't always get caught. So it's better to be proactive than reactive.